like a foil grasp of the Hieromancer. Hang on. This piece of junk. It's like 1 colorless, 1 white enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. Like, just some of the cards from Origins are just garbage, other than like Jace. And then I opened Starfield of Nyx, and people were talking about this in like Opalescence. This is the Pingers and Retreat to Coral with Chandra's Spitfire. That's cool. Anyway, people were like talking about this card in Modern, and the deck never happened, the enchantment deck for Starfield of Nykthos, but I opened one. It's a mythic. But no, that wasn't the sweet part. The sweet part was playing, so let's get to that. So what did I play? That card is actually pretty good. I know you would say that, Christian. I just don't believe it. So let's talk about what I played real quick while we're waiting for prizes to come in. This deck was super sweet. You're going to love it. What did we call this? I think I called it like deck for something for Legacy, Spawn Blade. What was it? Yep, here it is. What's that supposed to mean? I just know you, man. It's a term of, you know, when people know you, it's kind of an endearing thing. I'm not trying to make fun of you. That's me saying I just know the kind of cards you like, man. We've been doing this too long. I did, in fact, borrow Sword of Feast and Famine. Or no. I ended up not going with Sword of Fire Ice. I went with Sword of Feast and Famine. I don't know if that's right. And then I ran something else in the sideboard. I'll figure it out in a moment. I ran actual Notion Thief. Notion Thief did come up. I used it against a Storm player. It was great. Hey, it's a compliment, man. I know you. I know of you. You've been here too much. I know you. So I did change the build slightly, so let's talk about that. I did get somebody with Angels, which was great. They're like, wait, but you're not Miracles? Just because I'm not Miracles doesn't mean I can't do a sweet Entreat the Angels. I'm dropping all of the sideboard. The Angels. This deck is sweet. Oh, this was so much fun to play, and I got 4th place. That's how I got a prize pack. Isn't that cool? So these are all the cards I was borrowing. I was borrowing Jace, Stoneforges, Humazawa's Jitte, like basically the whole Stoneforge package I was borrowing. So let's talk about it. So what's different? What did I change? I think I added another land tax. I'd love to play this online. It's really fun. It's like Esper Parfait. It's basically Esper Parfait. Basically Esper is right. What did I change to fit those? Oh, I cut a bunch of land, I think is what I did, which is actually worked out for us, or worked out for me. You did your own version of Familiar's Ruse? Sure. 4th out of 4. Shut up. There were more people than 4, Black Iron. Okay. Oh wow, you're main decking a Sin Collector and Vencers? Okay. If you're gonna run Venser, you need to run Loxodon. What is it? Stonehorn Dignitary. You can't call it Parfait with only 1 land tax. I ran 2 taxes, and I ran Zurin Orb, and I pulled off that combo several times throughout the night, which was just so spicy. I'll admit I did tie 1 game. I did. I won my other matches, though. I had 1 game loss, I had 1 tie, and then the rest were wins. This is supposed to be sideboard. What's going on? It's weird. Yeah, Stonehorn Dignitary. Stonehorn Dignitary plus Sojourner is a lock in Modern. There's plenty of decks that just can't stop that. They have to attack. Twin is one of them. Although I guess they could just bounce the Stonehorn. Well, no, you just replay it. I don't know. It's a really cool lock. I'm surprised more people haven't done that lock. Let's see. Yeah, 2 tax. 2 racks, I think. Because if somebody abrupt decays one, I want to be able to search up the second one. But you can't really afford too many. It's just super toolbox deck. This is really sweet. So, I feel a little shisty. Because here's the thing, like, you guys know I do, like, kind of, you know, weird metagaming things. Do you notice this? This is kind of the spice. I figured there was going to be Storm. There were 2 Storm players at the hobby shop, which, even though it was, you know, it wasn't a small play group, but it wasn't, you know, Star City large. Still, 2 Storm players. I did come up against one of them towards the finals, and I actually managed to take him down, and we'll talk about that in a moment. I'm just trying to get my list here. I think I put the 4th force into the sideboard. That's what I did. Ballsy, right? Yeah. So main deck Ethersworn Canonist, because my plan against Storm was to go turn 1 Enlightened Tutor, turn 2 Canonist, and I would do that some of the games. Like I basically like I heard. It wasn't a very big room, so I did admittedly hear that particular guy was on Storm. Information is information, and I mulliganed. And what's great about this story is I don't get rewarded for this at all. That's what's great about this story. So I kind of hear through the brush that, oh, you know, next game you're playing the Storm guy. I'm like, well, how do you know? He's like, well, he beat me. And I'm like, oh, well, thanks, Fred. You know, like I actually told this person, like, I don't really like knowing. It's more fun if I don't know. But anyway, so I know that he's Storm because somebody blew the beans, spilled the beans, and you know I didn't like stick my fingers in my ears quickly enough or what have you. So I knew, and that does take some of the fun out of it for sure. Because I knew what my game plan was. It was I'm going to mulligan for Enlightened Tutor or the Natural Canonist and hope he doesn't take it. Of course, Ad Nauseam Tendrils runs Duress and Therapy. They don't always just have. They're not always able to take the Canonist. So. Blew the beans. Spilled the beans. Whatever. You know what I meant. So I know that's my out. Enlightened Tutor. I know I'm trying to Enlighten Tutor into... And I actually do own these in paper. These are real. So that's actual Enlightened Tutor. It's a black border Enlightened Tutor from Mirage. Anyway, so Enlightened Tutor into Ethersworn Canonist. So basically, I'm mulliganing really heavy, and he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, and I told a little white lie. I did. I'm not a perfect human being. I didn't want him to know that I was mulliganing for the exact hate card that would win the match. So I was like, I'm just not getting the right hand. He's like, okay, I'm like, you know, I'm just not getting what I need. You know, I'm not getting, and they were perfectly reasonable hands. Those were perfectly reasonable hands. They just didn't have Enlightened Tutor. So I settle for a 5 that does have Enlightened Tutor, but it has both of my basic, or it has 2 of the basic islands, so I can't cast the Tutor, and I can't cast the Canonist. Silver bordered? Aren't you special? Anyway, long story short, I end up keeping it. I'm like, oh, it's got like a ponder, maybe I'll find a... So I can't find the white source, and he just goes, turn 1, Duress, take my Tutor. Anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Like, I spent all this time mulliganing trying to find the Enlightened Tutor, and I scry, and I don't see it, and bottom the card, or don't see the white source. And he just kills me. Like, turn 2. Just wrecks me. It's like turn 2, turn 3 kill. And I totally deserve it, because I felt kind of bad about it afterwards. Just, like, while I was sideboarding, like, that was so foolish. Like, I threw away perfectly good hands that had, like, at least a clock or something, like a Stoneforge. Justice. It was Justice, Villic. Now, post-board, I just creamed him. I actually wasn't running the energy field. I ended up running something different. Post-board, I just creamed this guy. I actually, game 3, I brought back in the back to basics, and I back to basics him. It was crazy. Game 2 came down to Notion Thief and Rest in Peace and something else. No, I had the Canonist both games, actually. Excuse me. That's what happened. I had the Canonist. Game 2, he actually killed the Canonist with this little dandy. He played 2 of this card. Because game 1, he saw like, Lingering Souls, and he saw he saw Stoneforges. I don't think this card's that great though, but he was running it's like white creatures. Yeah, he had 2 of Dread of Night, and he drew both Dreads of Night, and he double Dread of Nighted to kill. No, it wasn't a Disfigure. It was 2 of Dread of Night, Villic. A 2 of Dread of Night, and he double Dread of Nighted me, which killed the Ethersworn Canonist. But then I just played a Notion Thief and won. Virtue's Ruin. Oh, Virtue's Ruin is great. I wish it wasn't so expensive on Moto. I still haven't figured out what's different between this list and that list. I need to figure this out, team. Hang on. What the heck did I do differently? The heck did I do different? I gave back the swords. I gave back sword. I gave back Batterskull. I gave back... there's something that's different in this sideboard. Needle. There's a Pithing Needle. What the heck was different? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Should be 1 force of will. Oh, there is the 4th force. Dread of Night is just a pain. This week's great playtesting is Twin, Basic Forest. Twin goes to twin his might. Affinity players stormed out of the shop. That's hilarious. That's awesome. Yeah, Vines of Vastwood does stop Twin. It does make the Twin unable to attach. That's really cool. There's got to be some of these cards, and there's one more. There's a card here that's supposed to be in the sideboard, I think. I'll find it. I mean, a lot of people like I was talking to my buddies. They're like, "Dude, you're crazy for main decking Canonists." And I'm like, "No, I'm. You know what I'm actually crazy for? I'm crazy for main decking swords, because you know what? There's a lot of like Storm running around. There's a lot of unfair decks running around right now. So like having a playset of swords to plowshares, it's almost a liability. You might be better off running some number of spell snares, because at least snare can trade with a Tarmogoyf or like a Infernal Tutor. Just putting that out there, team. Like right now is it's not a scary time for Legacy. It's a good time for Legacy. I think right now is a really good time to be getting into Legacy, playing Legacy. Just be aware that creature removal, that's what it does. It removes creatures. It won't do anything else for you. It's not very flexible. And I would consider maybe some number of spell snare right now. I'm actually thinking about doing that switch right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 18, 19. I ran more land than this. I borrowed a Tundra, that's what it is. I ran 20 land. There's actually 3 planes here. No scrub land. 2 Tundras. This is too many fetches. Is the other thing. Black with Teak. Oh yeah, Villic. Yeah. Let's see. I think I was gonna run 3rd planes. I'm just saying, like, main deck Ethersworn in an Enlightened Tutor deck is not crazy. You may think it's crazy, but it could have been the blowout. It could have just completely... And if you can take a game 1 against Storm, you're very favored. Because they're designed... They desire that game 1. Their combo, they desire the first game. Absolutely. So give me another land tax. Give me... Yeah, give me another land tax. I'm going to cut a sword. I'm going to cut a sword. Brew Hatebird. Nioburn. I guess instead of Fire Blast, you would run Teague? Is that what you're saying? No, it wouldn't be Teague Thaliabird. It would be Teague. It would just be Teague. It'd be Eidolon, Teague, and you cut the Fire Blasts. Because Fire Blast doesn't work with Teague.